Hey there everyone, this will be the last video of this series involving me answering the question related to the assignment under the subject of sustainable governance. This time, we are going to respond to the question of bit long, wasn't it? But do not fret, we will try to tackle the question through a certain flow, which starts with briefly mentioning the commonly accepted definition of the term democracy. Democracy originates from the term demo, which means people, and kratos, which means power, which can be translated into the term rule by the people, as stated in the literature by Krauss. It denotes a form of rule that permits the people to be heard in exercising political control over the form and function of their government. Democracy can come in different forms and types, which we won't have enough time to delve into each of them completely. What I'm going to focus on is the form that culminates from years-long research by Robert A. Dahl. Firstly, in his book Polyarchy, Dahl assumes that democracy is signified by government being constantly responsive to the preferences of its people, treated as political equal. For democracy to work and remain, Dahl insists that governments need to provide three unimpaired opportunities to their citizens, which are being allowed to freely formulate and signify their political preferences, which is then equally weighted in the conduct of the government. This forms the basis of the question earlier. As to the requirements, or what Dahl calls as necessary guarantees for the three opportunities to be realized, there are 8 elements involved, as shown in the diagram here. Freedom to form and join organizations, freedom of expression, the right to vote, right for political leaders to compete for support and for votes, alternative information sources, eligibility for public office, free and fair election, institutions for making government policies dependent on votes, and other expression of preferences. The list of guarantees required for democracy starts with freedom to form and join organizations, which signifies the ability for the people to associate with any organization without fear of repercussions or offending any laws or requirements. Next, freedom of expression allows citizens to be able to express their views and not be punished for it. Every citizen would hold same rights to vote for the government they prefer, that is, having a universal adult suffrage. Political leaders are allowed to compete for support or, in subtext of conduct, campaign for the votes from the citizens. Alternative information sources are present, made available, and is not manipulated or held limited to fit the agenda of the government. The next guarantee in the list, eligibility for public office, means any adult individual will be allowed to run for public office without restrictions. Elections need to be devoid of fraud or force for it to be fair and free. And lastly, government is accountable to the results of elections, when the power to govern and implement policies depends on votes and expression of preferences of public. These are what Dahl perceives as the minimum requirements for a democracy to be truly implemented. Some of these guarantees can appear in more than one dimension when correlation is made with the 3 opportunities earlier, as shown here. Dahl's notion can be translated into the more power public holds in controlling the authority of the state through societal and civil entities, free from autonomy by the state, the higher quality of democracy the polity would hold. Nonetheless, there are many doubters behind his theory, and Dahl himself has stated some exclusions deliberately made in his assumptions in his book. Added with the lack of real-life evidence of a government that has truly provided all the guarantees stated, where maximum degree of public contestation and participation is allowed, leaves Dahl's theory not able to be concluded as right or wrong. That was the conclusion of my response. Well, that's all from me, folks. Hope you enjoyed these sets of videos for the assignment. See you in the future. Thank you very much for tuning in, and goodbye.